Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hi. My group members and I would like to present about Sweet Home Enterprise business transaction, which are accounting concept, general and specialized journal, ledger and trial balance, statement of profit or loss, and lastly, statement of financial position of Sweet Home Enterprise. First, I'm going to introduce myself and my team members. My name is Rabiatul Adawiyah Betrosdi. Next, Muhammad Halim Iskandar. Next to him is Nurul Najwa binti Zainal Abidin. And lastly, Imran Muhammad Akil bin Muhammad Azhar. Before we go further to business transaction, let's get into the type of business first. The name of business is Sweet Home Enterprise. Sweet Home Enterprise is sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship is the simplest business that is just owned by one person. The owner of the Sweet Home Enterprise is Mr. Danish. Sweet Home Enterprise make business by selling furniture and home decoration. All the source of the capital from the owner itself, and the owner will receive and enjoy profit made and suffer any loss incurred. There are a few of accounting concepts that are applicable in Sweet Home Enterprise. Those are going concern, business entity, monetary, and actuarial-based accounting. Going concern that will make the business have a long life to fulfill their objective. Business entity concept that business is treated as separate from proprietor. Monetary unit principle that are recorded and appear in financial statement. For example, unit of RM in business transaction. Accrual-based accounting are based on revenue recognition and expense recognition to derive at the profit or loss of the business.
For General Journal, on 12th January, Danish drew inventory of RM 1,500 for his parents. We have to debit drawing RM 1,500 and credit purchase with the same amount. On 16 January, the owner draws inventory of RM 780 for his personal use. We have to debit drawing RM 780 and credit cash with the same amount. Next is sales journal. Sweet Home Enterprise sales good on credit to ERA amounted to RM 6,300 on 7 January. On 9 January, the business sales good on credit to Max amounted to RM 9,000. On 15 January, the business made credit sales on Iman amounted to RM 8,200. On 16 July, the business made credit sales on AR Habib Berhad amounted to RM 15,000. The accumulated amount of 38,500 was transferred to sales account at the end of the month. Moving on to purchase journal. On 2 January, the business purchased inventory on credit from Saya Enterprise with the amount of RM 13,000. On 6 January, the business purchased inventory amounted to RM 7,000 from Izzuddin Berhad. On 8 January, the business purchased inventory amounted to RM 6,700 from Haila Sindiran Berhad. On 17 January, the business purchased inventory on credit from Anwar Furniture amounted to RM 5,000. The accumulated amount of RM 31,700 was transferred to purchase account at the end of the month. Next is sales return journals. On 18 January, Habib Berhad returned some inventory to the business, which amount RM 1,100. This transaction was recorded under the sales return account with the amount of RM 1,100. Continue to the purchase return journal. On 10 January, the business made purchase return to Saya Enterprise amounted to RM 2,000. The amount of RM 2,000 was transferred to the sales return account. Let's go to the cash receipt journal. On 1st January, the business deposited RM 150,000 to the bank account as the capital for the business. The owner also deposited Rm30,000 as a cash capital for the business. On 5 January, the business bank increased by Rm70,000 as a loan from M-Bank. On 7 January, Sweet Home Enterprise made cash sales Rm7,500. On 16 January, the business made cash sales amount Rm5,000. On 17 January, Max paid the amount owing to the business by cash amount to Rm8,100 after receiving a sales discount Rm900. On 20 January, the business bank account increased Rm1,000 as a dividend from bank. On 22 January, IRA paid the owing to the business by cash amount Rm5,985 after receiving a sales discount Rm315. On 27 January, Habib Berhad paid the amount owing to the business amount Rm12,510 by check. The business provide sales discount amount to Rm1,390. On 28 January, the business made sales by cash Rm7,300. The total amount of this sales discount is Rm2,605. Cash received is 63,885 and bank receipt is Rm 233,510. Proceed to the cash payment journal. On 2 January, the business took the fixture and fitting amount to Rm6,000 and paid by check. On 5 January, Sweet Home Enterprise buy a lorry for the business by check amount Rm15,000. On 12 January, the business made purchase of inventory from Creative Berhad amount Rm3,700. The payment was made by cash. On 13 January, the business expensed Rm400 for advertising and the payment was made by cash. On 15 January, the owner took Rm600 from his business bank for insurance life. On 21 January, full payment was made to Saya Enterprise. The discount received was Rm550 and the payment made by check Rm10,450. The business also settled on Anwar Furniture for the credit purchase made on 17 January. The business received an Rm750 for cash discount. The payment made by business is Rm4,250. On 25 January, the business paid carriage awards amount to Rm250 by cash. On the same day, business also paid the rental expense amount Rm2,400 by check. On 31st January, the business paid salaries and wages that amount to Rm6,000 by cash. The business also paid Rm25,000 by check for the shop load. The accumulated amount of purchase discount is Rm1,300. Payment by cash is Rm10,350 and payment by check is Rm63,700.
And now is ledger and trial balance. Bank account belongs to debit. Cash account belongs to debit. Capital belongs to credit. Drawings belong to debit. Account receivable era belongs to debit. Sales accounts belong to credit. Account receivable max belongs to debit. Account receivable Iman belongs to debit. Account receivable Habib Berhad belongs to debit. Purchase account belongs to debit. Account payable Saya Enterprise belongs to credit. Account payable Izzuddin Berhad belongs to credit. Account payable Hela Sediam Berhad belongs to credit. Account payable Atma Furniture belongs to credit. Sales return account belongs to debit. Purchase return account belongs to credit. M-Bank belongs to credit. Fixture and fittings belongs to debit. Lorry account belongs to debit. Advertising expenses belongs to debit. Insurance account belongs to debit. Discount sales belong to debit. Dividend income belongs to credit. Purchase discount belong to credit. Garage upwards belongs to debit. Rental expenses belongs to debit. Shop lot belongs to debit. Mortgage payable belongs to credit. Salary and wages belongs to debit.
D is trial balance format. The first thing you have to write is the name of the business and the title, which is trial balance, and the date of it. And then you have to write particulars column, debit and credit column. As you can see, this trial balance was made by Sweet Home Enterprise at 31st December 2020. You need to put all the amount into the right column, either it is debit or credit, based on the ledger that you have made. As you can see, my team members and I write the business transaction into the trial balance. After that, we just need to total off the amount for debit and credit column. As the result, the total of both debit and credit column are 304,500 ringgit. As you can see, both of debit and credit amount are the same, and this shows that our trial balance is valid and we did not do any mistake.
Now I will start with the statement of profit or loss. The net sale is 54,595 ringgit by deducting sales with sales return and sales discount. After that, I will calculate the cost of sales by reducing the amount purchases with purchases discount and purchases return. And then we will get the cost of good purchases amounted to 30,600 ringgit. And then we will find the goods available for sale by adding opening inventory and cost of good purchase that amounted to 30,600 ringgit. For your information, we don't have the opening inventory because we just started the business. After that, we will deduct the closing inventory for 25,005 ringgit to get the cost of goods sold that amounted to 5,595 ringgit. Next, we will calculate the gross profit by deducting 5,595 ringgit with net sales, and then we will get the gross profit that amounted to 49,000 ringgit. After we get the gross profit, we will add the total revenues with the gross profit that amounted to 50,000 ringgit. Next, we sum up the total of expenses and we will get the amount of 9,650 ringgit. Lastly, after adding the gross profit and the total revenues, we will deduct the amount with total expenses and get the net profit that amounted to 40,350 ringgit. Moving on to the statement of financial position, by adding the fixture and fittings, shop lot, and lorry, and we will get the total of non-current asset which amounted to 46,000 ringgit. After that, we will total up the amount of closing inventory, account receivables, bank and cash, and we will get the amount of current assets that amounted to 267,070 ringgit. Next, we will calculate the total asset by adding total non-current assets and current assets that amounted to 313,070 ringgit. Later, we will total the owner's equity by adding capital and net profit by deducting the amount of drawing. After that, we will get the amount of owner's equity that amounted to 218,070 ringgit. For non-current liabilities, we will add the loan from AM Bank and mortgage payable and get the amount of non-current liabilities, which is 95,000 ringgit. Lastly, we total up the total owner's equity and the total liabilities and we will get 313,070 ringgit.